You went, did you go to Chile? I went to Chile.
You just got back from it?
Hey, there's our other,
How are you? Good to see you too.
hello, good to see you. See you, thanks for being here, man.
Is it new?
No. Looks good. Oh, I see, you can't see the details.
It's for, it seems.
Sorry, you don't want to see the commissioner's face.
More like,
Put it down more, you can see lots of the back.
That happens.
That
happens a lot.
Angelic.
Usually it's a different kind of-
Let's keep it, we don't want to spread that around to them. It really raises the bar.
We really are. Literally our glow.
I asked you, don't spread it. You want me to go like this?
Oh, wow, you got it looking at this?
Wait, you do
Yeah,
that. and I'll
So
do-
that was, it looked like, wow. Bean,
Can you send it to my wife?
can you see it up there?
Yeah, I can
No, there's nothing up here.
Oh, he has to see it.
Gotta turn that on.
He has to see it, hold on. He has to see this in real time.
How do you, I didn't even think about that. I don't think we have it on. Started.
Oh, it's so weird. Yeah, get ready,
Oh, there it is.
get ready. We're about to see it.
I forgot about this.
Jealous bean.
It's a new TV.
Oh, wow.
How are you?
Good. How about you? Was this here?
Good.
Yes.
No, that was very
So-
clear.
Good time last week?
Yeah, that was,
Yeah.
that was nice.
Win anything?
No, you know, I didn't even,
Didn't gamble at all.
yeah, I lost a bit.
A little bit. I broke even. You? No, not at all.
Yeah, I didn't win, but my wife won enough to make us a little more than even.
So
Yeah.
that's, I won, my husband lost, and we just broke even.
Yeah.
We are not gamblers. so.
Well,
We're not getting.
I'm not. a
I
gambler.
didn't play. I bought the first round. My wife lost the money that I gave her 2 times, so she bought the next 2 rounds.
Yeah, but then she did okay on blackjack.
Did she?
Yeah. She
Oh,
just didn't
okay.
tell you about it.
Blackjack
Yeah,
was
all
fun.
right.
I played it for the first time. I'd never played before. I had fun with it.
I like that book that explains all the different betting. I
It
gotta
was fun
study that.
because they were learning, like, at the same time I was learning, they were teaching me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, there was,
You
there
already-
was something
you
where
already
they opened up on Monday.
Wow. This is like-
12,000 people that came in.
And I purposely, I was out in Dalton to look at it, John, and so I came down Halsted to see what it looked like. I saw it backed up to the crest of the overpass, so I took the back roads. Through 171st and then back up 175th, and there were people walking across the street, marking in the hotels. I mean, this is 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 2:30 in the parking lot at Portillo's and Chick-fil-A's. So that's gonna be, it's today about the same time, it wasn't as bad.
The weekends are.
That's a-
are gonna be busy.
Yeah. Most of it's crazy, and you throw in a couple funeral processions in there too. It's
Did somebody leave a hat?
I do too.
Is that yours?
Brian just, I think Brian just tossed it here.
We'll see.
Was it-
No,
it's my hand.
It's yours. You just tossed
It
it.
is. I'm sure I missed your clock's head, but yeah.
And I just use what little bit of thinning hair I have to keep me warm on the head.
Just Dan.
And
Dan.
Actually, my wife and I would like to go back again. Obviously.
Food was so good.
That was excellent. Yeah,
I spent more time eating than moving in the casino.
yeah.
give me a copy. Is there a way to make it a little cooler in here?
Wait, extra tappy?
And Jim, it's pretty.
Maybe just the effect.
It could be the effect of your hair. It's the heat from the glow. God, no, I got one thing.
Feel my hand.
It's pretty nice.
So I.
Oh, can I have it?
For quorum, do you count in the quorum?
Yes, because I go.
Makes sense. because it's
Just
right.
never, just thought of that.
Yeah.
Of course it is. Of course it was, right?
Picture yourself.
Four is enough, right?
Four is a quorum.
I run the staff report, but I just,
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You have to get your jacket. Well, you don't.
Oh,
because you
yeah.
don't Get it. Damaged. It's never pay. Next time. All right.
Run into you at the.
No, I ran into a couple people here, but, I had basically 20 minutes. Just was in and out. I don't gamble, so I just, there's not a lot of.
Yeah.
And I had a date that night for dinner, so.
Oh,
food I
okay.
had to kind of, you know, so,
Sure.
but.
Okay, you just make your, do your,
Due
employment,
diligence. Yep.
yeah,
Came in,
employment
said
duties.
hello. Tried to see as many people as I could, made the rounds, and then took a couple pictures of different, you know, architectural things, and then was right back out the door. So.
We ate like.
Okay. Yeah, so many different faces, I mean.
Yeah, but stuff happens, you know. No, we're running late.
Oh, yeah.
Jack, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Are we live?
We are.
All right, welcome to the Appearance Commission meeting of November 13th, 2024. Roll call, please.
Member Banks. Member Shefke,
Here.
member Preston. Member Ryan,
Here.
I'm sorry, that's not right, member Quirk,
Here.
member Kidd. Member Club
Here,
and Chair Ryan.
Here. Thank you. Next item on the agenda are the minutes from October 3rd, approval of the minutes from October 3rd, 2024 meeting of the Appearance Commission. Are there any changes or updates or anything else, Commissioner Cluck?
no,
All right, Commissioner Quirk.
Yeah, on page 8. Right in the middle. It says, ayes, members Banks, Quirk and Cluck. Nays, members Shefke and Quirk and Chairman. I'm very versatile, but not quite.
You voted twice.
Yeah, yeah. I did grow up in Chicago.
Anything else?
So which was your vote?
Um,
First time. No,
Hmm?
didn't pass.
Do you,
Okay.
member Quirk, what was your vote? Yes, yea or nay?
You know, what's missing on here is member Preston, because she was here. She just came late for
Oh,
the first vote.
right.
That's what.
it
that's
was probably
what-
Preston.
Page 8. Thanks.
So mine would have been an aye vote.
Hmm?
Mine would, on that, I would have voted aye, and
Okay,
it might have been Ms. Preston who voted no,
okay, that
because that did not pass,
I
right?
might have to review the tape just to be. Yeah. Good catch. Yes,
No.
all right, member Shefke. All right, the only other thing that I found was on page 2. It said member Preston and members Preston and Kidd were absent. Member Preston came later, maybe 10 minutes later. So she was in fact here.
It does.
That is, it's stated in there,
It is stated. Okay, my bad.
yeah, a little bit that further.
I think
We have to run it through AI.
that's it for. Okay, so do I have a motion to approve the minutes of October 3rd, 2024?
So moved.
Second,
All right, you guys want to do a roll call? Do we do a roll call on this normally? Does it matter?
Doesn't matter.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, any abstentions? Nobody's here to abstain. Okay, then, before we move, yes, public comments. Is there anybody here who would like to comment about anything that is not on our current agenda? No. Okay, is there anybody online?
Not at this time, nope.
Okay, before we move on, I would like to congratulate Angela Massaros, Director of Economic and Community Development, and Noah Schumer, the Assistant Director of Economic and Community Development, for receiving the Healthy and Active Community Award from the Illinois chapter of the American Planning Association for its Village of Homewood Transit Oriented Development Plan. Congratulations, and you guys worked very hard.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Should have made sure that Napoleon was here for that, right?
You'll have to watch the tape.
Oh, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
All right, and on to regular business. Our first case is public meeting, case 2445, the appearance review of 2124 West 183rd Street redevelopment. No, I'd like to take this.
Excellent. Good evening, Commission. I'll be presenting a brief introduction to the project at 2124 West 183rd Street. It's a redevelopment for a restaurant use at that site. Before we start, it's just something to try. In the staff memo, we always include the appearance plan standards that relate to each case. We pick out the most relevant ones and provide them for you, and I just have copies of each of those for each case. So you can use those as reference when making a decision, since we don't have appearance plans sitting around. So I'm happy to just kind of take one and pass it down there, and we'll get started.
Thanks.
All right, so we're looking at a small corner site, corner of 183rd Street and Morris Avenue. In the kind of southern portion of our downtown area. The property is zoned B2, downtown transition. Here is that site. I will briefly get rid of this. There we go. So it's a former gas station convenience store building. It's been vacant for a number of years, since 2014. I briefly put the image here, just showing what it looked like before and what it looks like here now vacant. It was acquired, or I guess it was a gas station until 2014. It was a brownfield, just being a gas station with underground fuel tanks, requiring environmental review. Village purchased the property in 2021, entered into a potential partnership with the applicant. We solicited alternate proposals. No proposals were received. We engaged with an environmental firm to do remediation through the state leaking underground storage tank program. And ultimately, the site was allowed to redevelop with a no further remediation letter and some conditions on the property. Namely, the two that are important here, just for considering the context of the site, that the site has an engineered barrier area. It's outlined in red. That area has to be paved no matter what at the completion of the project. You can open it up to make improvements, but then it needs to be paved back over. You can't have open dirt there. And then any soil removed from the site must go through hazardous waste disposal process. It has to be tested and then disposed of through a state approved process. So again, not fully, it'll affect the appearance of the site ultimately, and I'll kind of walk through that a little bit. But just to give you some context on why the site looks the way that it does. So the main proposal here, and I will briefly reduce this window, is the renovation of that existing building, that tan convenience store building on the northwest corner of the site. You will have a patio, a rebuilt parking area, the new sidewalk connecting to 183rd Street, and some new landscape areas. So I've identified those on the site plan here briefly for your review. So see building northwest corner with the patio to the east, that parking area taking up the bulk of the southern portion of the site, and then the sidewalk and landscape areas around the site elsewhere. And then that engineered barrier area, you'll see there's no landscaping materials in that zone. Those all have to be paved over. So you can build curbs, lighting, other fixtures, but then you have to pave over the top of it. And it has to remain that way, unfortunately. So the elevations here, just to present them to you, the building is largely remaining the same as in terms of exterior finishes. As you'll currently see on the site, I've put samples of the three materials that are present on the site now. The applicant proposes to repair those materials where they say the brick is damaged or has had water streaks on it, or in areas where, again, just site deterioration has happened over time. And so you'll see, again, those materials largely restored, and then a couple minor modifications, such as that metal and fiber cement frame going over the top of the roof line of the building, over where you'll see those big Rocco signs to provide screening for rooftop equipment installations on top of the building for the restaurant. Then I've just identified some areas where those are used. The fluted block will be some details on the edges of the building and then underneath the storefront windows. That slightly smoother stone you'll see present above the storefront windows. And then that coarser block material covers a lot of the rest of the building as well, especially on the west and north sides of the building.
So all of this is existing?
Those materials are existing, yes, although again,
Okay.
they'll be repaired. The only materials that are new, on this page here that you're seeing here, or this slide, are the fiber cement and the metal frame. So this kind of new tech wood, kind of, I guess it's a composite board versus fiber cement. There's panels that will be used again across that roof line and then ultimately as part of the patio structure as well.
Thank you.
So here's here's a rendering view of the site. So you'll see that building again, largely looking the way that it does, but with some new fixtures, that new screening across the roof of the building, 2 new signs, which I'll address in a moment, and then some lighting fixtures on the outside as well. Again, just repairing that, cleaning it up, and then setting it within a new context of a restaurant use. And you can refer to some of those materials to kind of see where they're distributed on that building there. Here's just another look at the more details of what materials are there. You'll see those 3 split block types blown up a little bit more for your viewing. And then again, that new tech wood composite board, and that metal frame, which again, will take up some of the, say on the patio fencing and then on that roof line, parapet, above the front of the building. This is not really in the purview of the appearance review, but it is helpful for your context. The floor plan, you can just see how tables will be distributed through that space. A small gaming area, southwest side of the restaurant area. The kitchen will be in that northwest corner of the building, and then that patio placed on the east side of the building there, with a number of tables in there. That patio is being about 430 square feet, I believe, in area.
Gaming is in video gaming?
As in the games you see, let's say like Twisted Q, Stony Point, some of the other
Just curious.
Yep. And then the patio fence is a low fence that again is kind of a traditional scale, like kind of a partition fence for the patio use. Roughly probably about 3.5 feet in height. Similar to some fences you'll see at other outdoor eating establishments, places especially that serve alcohol, because that fence is required.
Could you go back to that picture of the photo? Well, it's not a photo, the drawing.
Oh, sure.
That.
This
yeah.
one.
Oh, it's hard to see that. It's so dark. I was just better over there. Okay, I'm gonna get up a little bit now. It's way better. That's- Oh, it's in keeping with the colors of everything else. It appears to be, right?
The patio, are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, because people will be sitting outside.
Yep, so this patio here, and as well as this enclosure fence, and then this are all the same material. It's that brown composite board material with the metal frame.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And so just to briefly present the recommendation.
Yeah.
And I'll turn it over to the applicant to discuss the project further. We recommend approval of the appearance review for case 2445. The redevelopment at 2124 183rd Street. With one condition that a photometric plan be supplied, which has not been received at this time, that details the location of the lighting fixtures and also the any effect and potential impact on surrounding properties of lighting.
Right, and so there is somebody here representing the big.
Yeah.
reference.
Correct, yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. This is
Hi.
the property owner here.
Question from
So
Billy,
we'll,
right?
we'll swap out here. I will leave this on the rendering, just because it can be a helpful resource, and thank you.
Come on up, if you wouldn't mind, over there, let us know who you are. We might have some questions for you over there at the podium.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Hi, my name is Animesh Kumar. I'm representing Ultra Energy Group. This is our second development in village of Homewood. We are already in, right next to that is a Shell gas station. We started last year, I think. It took us a long because there was so much lien on that property. When we bought it, we had no idea there'll be 7 times more than what we bought it for the liens. And it was a mistake, but I got a real good help from Napoleon, Morris, and they help us, and Mayor himself. And now we are doing good. City is happy with our operations. One of the cleanest gas station you can go in. And we are doing tremendous business. We had no idea that will surpass what Shell has given us. Shell told us that you will be doing this much. We crossed that in 3 months. Right now, we are closing close to 78% more than what they have expected us to do. Wow. That was a great, I love our guys there. I'm hardly in US because my main operation is in South America and Central America. I just landed 3 o'clock today morning from Chile. And I had no idea that I have to come because my partner is supposed to be here. He couldn't. But yes, we are happy with Village. We did get a very good help from them when we was doing the gas station. This is again a project which our budget has crossed already double. So when we was talking with the village to buying this property, we was expecting that it's a minor changes needed. But when we went to each and every meeting, they keep on adding and adding, and it's good. Like it will, after it is done, you will love it because it will be one of a kind. Normally, if you go to a restaurants, they are more like either full family-based business or completely outside, like completely youngster bar, you just go and hang out. This is gonna be something which you want to, because we are trying to a food which is gonna be Italian fusion. So it's not completely Italian, it's a fusion. So it is a great success in Florida. So this is a Florida franchisee. They have a good clientele base there. And mostly our clientele base there is above 35. So it is not something a youngster will love to go. So it's like middle age and upper middle age, because it's more relaxing rather than just drinking. And patio, the reason for patio is after COVID, a lot of people understand that Chicago is not just a place for indoor things. So we really don't use the patio only for 3 or 4 months. People love using it in April, people love using it in November. And that is not only, I'm talking about city of Chicago, I'm talking about Naperville, Lisle, Aurora, Schaumburg, you name it. All the places where we are seeing patios users have increased tremendously. Even people, there is a space inside, they don't want to sit out inside. They want to go out because breathing natural air and all that makes people feel much better. So I'm glad Village allowed us to do a patio. And it is not a very big patio because we have a very strained position of the building. So it is not much we can do. And this project don't let us do a complete demolitions and do from scratch. It will be not worthwhile. So we can't touch the building and demolish and all that things. The only problem I have is I have a garbage center right next to the patio. And in a restaurant, there'll be a smell. I cannot help it. Nobody can help it, right? Because restaurants are food, so there'll be a smell. So that is the only worry point I have, is how my people are going to understand or take it when they see a garbage right next to your patio. So it's little, we tried that day how we're still working on. That's why I didn't finalize I didn't approve my whole layout with my architect, because we are still trying to see what all we can do that people will not get right next to them is a garbage disposal area where garbage is keeping there. So it still means, of course, it's a much open area, so we will try not to have a problem, but that's my personal constraint. And I'm a detail guy. I love, if I like something, that means other people will love too. I'm not a person, it's hardly matter what it is, like just do it. I'm a relaxed, I'll do things, but I do with a passion. I just don't do it for making money. God grace, we are doing good. We are one of the leading government of US hazardous waste guy. Like we take most of the federal government hazardous waste throughout the year, all of them, Alaska, Hawaii, and all. So this is not our prime business. Our prime business is handling the hazards like from scrap batteries, tires, burnt oil, CRTs, all that, like, which is really harmful for the country, for the people. We take that all the scrap out and take it to the different parts of the world, get it processed there. But slowly we are trying to help our community where we live. I live in Lisle, but I have more than 16, 17 employees, those who are living in village of Homewood and neighboring.
Good.
So we have good gas station chains in this neighborhood, Markham, Harvey, there is one Crest Hill and all that, thing, like, all in like 10 miles radius, we are allowed. But I hope we are doing a good, I will have interior designing also very soon. You guys will be able to see that, how it's gonna look. Now we are pushed to November, so I don't think so I'll be able to start till April because one of the winter starts, it's very hard to do any kind of construction. So-
Right, and then maybe.
Correct, correct.
I see, okay, that's fantastic, we appreciate you coming here and filling us in on everything. You probably have some questions, just like the commissioner, so let's see. Questions.
So-
Good luck.
No, I think it almost, everything, the existing building, the colors, and structures are all tied in together. We are trying to go a little bit more high on the dumpster so that we can see that it is trying to avoid any visibility for the customer. You can avoid the look, but you cannot avoid the smell. So this is where my specialization.
Nice, one good thing in your favor, won't help on a stagnant day in the middle of June or
Yeah.
August, July or August, but prevailing winds come out of the south.
That's true. That's
So-
true. I
Now,
agree with you.
the business next door, they may not like that. But that's part
Or
of,
the people behind it. Okay, anything else, Commissioner?
no.
All right, Commissioner Quirk.
First of all, welcome to Homewood.
Thank you.
Welcome to Homewood again. And actually, I have several questions. Did you guys just miss the boundary of the TIF? Isn't there a TIF that's right around there? Like the
There was
TIF
a
that went
TIF.
to,
There was a TIF district that expired.
oh, okay.
Last year.
And number two, you don't have to have any remediation for underground storage tanks that were there? You don't even have to have those whirly bird things?
No, so the NFR, what I received a copy from it. NFR says you cannot do certain things on there. This type of business is okay. They don't let me do any excavation in that area because there was chances of having some kind of excavation still there. But they have a clean soil reports. So
But
that's
you
what-
don't have one at your gas station, the one next door? Isn't there one right in the corner, the southwest corner?
He's got the vents, doesn't he?
Say again?
He's got those vents, doesn't he?
That's what I mean, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You know,
Yes.
And there-
so
and
you've
there's
got
one
those at the gas
There's
station,
one
but you,
at, Dixie and 183rd.
Yeah. at the
but you
end.
don't have any here. You're not required to have any here. Okay. How's the parking?
We are having right now 12 parking designated. I know it will be a little challenge because we are expecting a good number of people will be coming. And we have
Okay, a good number, what?
people who will be visiting our place, like the customers. There will be a good number of customers. So 12 is a little tight parking, but for our employees, we are gonna use our next door to park. So there will be no employees parking in that area. So it will be all dedicated to the customer.
Okay. And are you gonna have a full bar there?
Yes, it will be a full bar.
And one thing that's been a problem for a lot of restaurants is a grease pit. Do you have
We
one?
have, that's another $200,000 expense which come to us, that we have to do it.
But that's not our.
I apologize. No, it's not. That was curiosity.
Yes, we have to put the grease trap, and that also outside, so normally we do is, it's called pick and pull. So all the grease trap is gonna be collected and the company third party comes in and take it out. But Village of Homewood wants us to put it a permanent one so that it will be sniffing rather than doing it every 2 weeks or 3 weeks basis. It's cost, but what village wants, we have to do it.
Thank you very much. That's all I.
All right, Commissioner Shefkey.
I have no questions. Thank you for the Shell station.
Yeah.
You're welcome. You love it?
I love it.
Huh?
I love it. And more importantly, my wife loves it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
Just add on to that, say, good looking business. Good looking
That's what our aim is. If you go even to our areas, those who are really remote in Harvey-side where we have to put the whole bulletproof and everything, and you go to Sandburg or Naperville or anywhere, our model is same. It's not like we do something here. There means I was in Lyle last month with the appearance committee meeting. And they're saying it's Lyle, why you have a bulletproof? I said, I don't care, it's Lyle or Homewood or Village. For me, my employee safety is very important. And we have seen there was a gunshot in the Sambor. Never we have, like, from last 25 years, I'm in this business, I never had this experience. But it is, so it's not for just look wise, it is for protection of our employees too. They are human beings too. You don't want them to get, who knows who will come with a wrong mindset and anything can happen. And I refused, and finally they approved me. They refused me. They said, you have to take it out. I said, no, I will not put the business there because I'm not here to make money. I'm here to make money and have a good life too. I don't want to hear somebody's family is gone because of me. So losing a business is not a problem. Losing a life is much more. And we lost 3 people in last 29 years in city of Chicago. And I walk out. There is no gas station we have in city of Chicago. Not at all. Even they're giving us free, we don't want it.
Mhm.
So.
Well, we appreciate that you're here.
Yes.
Thank you.
I do have a few questions. Is this a franchise? You mentioned. it's a
Okay,
franchise.
So Big Rockers, they don't give you franchisee because it's a corporate owned kind of thing. They are very laid back. They have their own recipe of things. So that's why I said it's fusion. It's not purely Italian. So they don't like giving, but I know the owner from long time. So I requested them when we started talking to a village of Homewood to get this concept here. Mayor's liked it. I went back there. I spent quite a good time with him. So he gave us free hands. Free hands means I have to just pay a lump sum a year. I don't have to pay like fixed percentage every month. So he is a guy who's passionate about his food. So it's not like he wants to sell the franchise and make money. If you don't like the way you do it, he don't want it. So he's giving us the recipe, but it will be under his control that we maintain the recipe. We do not screw up the recipe. That's what he wants. That's it.
Well, there's a reason why I'm asking this franchise. It has to do with your sign.
Yeah.
And that says Big Rocco's.
Yeah.
Is that sign of your choice or is that a general bid?
No, this is right now, not the actual sign. It is just, we still have not bought the property.
Right.
So all the money we are spending right now in position of getting the property. So once we are getting everything done, then only I will sign with the franchise, means with the Big Rockers that, hey, we are officially going up. Because legally, if you don't own anything, you cannot do anything, right?
Yeah.
So we are in such a position that neither we have, neither we don't have.
But as far as you know, that would be the location of the sign.
Correct. That will be the location.
And is that the only sign you plan to have?
That's again, there is 2 signs. If you see, one is this side, one is other side where the patio is.
Oh, way.
Yeah.
in the-
Yes. So that sign is something which I don't want it because that is a useless sign. People are already in the patio. They don't need to know who you are. So technically, one sign I want to make, but I want to make it much better, which will go not where it is, but little curving where your entrance is right on top of it. But we are still, means with the designer, with the architect, we're still working on it.
Okay,
What we do it.
the question, because I'm looking at that sign and that, the red dark letters on a dark background don't really.
No, don't.
So I know now, I now know that's
Yeah.
not your sign.
No. Sign if you want. Is there any way you can pull the online Big Rockers? Florida?
Sure.
Yeah,
And
so
this is what you would then be planning on possibly using?
yes, they gave us the rights to use my name or anybody name. They want the recipe as the same. They want the recipes to be maintained.
Mhm.
So I can use any name instead of Big Rockers, no problem. The food, what we are gonna use is what the fusion Italian we are trying to bring.
Okay,
So it will be a new thing, like people, you already know Italian, you know already Mexican, you know all, right? But when it comes to the fusion, it's a different test. So you have a liberty to try something which is somebody's mind, and it is booming there. If you see if you get a chance, they're in West Palm Beach, they're in West Palm Beach, Miami, I think somewhere else too.
well, so this may be directed at our the village here. Are they going to need to come back to us with the sign?
Only if they require a variance.
Only if it's a variance. Okay.
So if they require a variance, then they'll have to come back, but it looks like they would comply.
Yes,
sign-wise.
yes. There is no variance. It will be just a color. The color combination is what I want to be soothing. And now it's a LED world, right? So with the LED implementation, things change. Like even a small LED changes, makes it more brighter and more. So there is a photometric, they are trying to do it. When we are doing the photometric, we're gonna do for sign also. So that way it will show me how vibrant it will be on the eyes. Is it good? It's not that way.
The other thing I'd like to know, you only have
Is
12
that it?
parking spaces. and it
Yeah,
sounds
so
like-
this is how their
Oh, there it is.
sign, their sign is. It's called Big Rockers Pizzeria and Tavern.
Okay,
But we will be using Big Rockers, not only the Pizzeria and Tavern, but we'll be using a Big Rockers.
Will you be
Okay.
using that same,
Yes, so it could be in the round or it could be a little longer, but the color combination will be changed. Because right now it's dark, so that is not gonna glow
no,
good.
it won't show up.
Yeah.
no, yeah, that's, because it's one of the things that the commission looks at, the most important things we look at is signage too.
Yes,
So I was curious about that. Now, you only have 12 parking spaces, which was already sort of covered. If you in fact are as busy as you think you might be, overflow will be in the neighborhood, which people may not
like it.
like. The other thing is, there's public parking and there's public places, it's a little bit, it's by behind Blueberry Hill, which is kitty corner to your gas station. You might want to consider having signage somewhere that says overflow parking at the village parking lot, or something to that effect. That might at least ease some of the concerns that I suspect you might have from some of the neighbors.
Actually, for weekend, we did a study for the traffic patterns and the customer pattern. Of Thursday and Friday and Friday and Saturday, we are expecting to get at least 8 to 9 more parking, no matter what. Although we have the neighborhood, next door business is ours, we have enough parking there, so people can use that. We just bought the house right beside this property, thinking that we are gonna demolish that house and put it as a parking, but that is not big enough to even add another 10 parking spots. So we ended up using that for our managers to stay there and all, so that they will have a close look on the
Great idea.
business. So it means it's mixed for them, it's better because now they have 24/7, they will have eye on the business. So that's what we just bought it, like, not long back ago.
That's where you could put the dumpster.
Yeah, if they will allow me, I will do it. I have enough space there.
Across the alley.
If it will be allowed, I have no problem. I can do that.
You're,
I'm glad to see that you're in there and somebody's in there. I like what I see. It's very nice and I like your gas station too, especially because your gas prices tend to be a little lower than in the area, around the area. I said that publicly. No, and you maintain your property, which is
Yes.
so very important. That's a reflection on what will happen with this property too, because sometimes we have some difficulty getting people to maintain their property, and that just brings people in. It brings more customers in. It's a draw. So that's a very big positive. We're glad, very glad to see that.
This year itself, we spent 45,000 in the gas station just on our parking areas. Because when we did development and all, there was a lot of things which was not completed because of the weather and all.
Yeah.
So we end up opening it, and this year we finish it. So if you go, you'll see now the parking area is much more. We have additional 8 more car can park now, where it was not there anymore. So
Well, thank you very much. And anything else, commissioners?
I just have one, it's more a comment than anything is. I regularly have to be very careful driving down in front of your place and across from Lassen's. Because there's people passing from after parking on your property and going to Lassen's all the time. I mean, all from 4 o'clock on. So understand that people from Lassen's are going to expect to park on your property.
that's really gonna stop, because I just said, I have to use. I have to use, and that's one of the reason I was trying to have a space so that customer don't have to go all the way to the road and come back. They can just park and come to this side, but village wants us to cover it with all the on the tree.
Landscape is extremely important.
No, I'm okay with it. I just need just a 4 feet gap so that they don't need to go all the over to come back. Hey, you're coming for having a good food and have a drink, right? You don't want to walk.
I'm sure they'll find their way through. So, all right, so, is anything else?
No, sir.
All right, well then, do I have a motion to approve case 2425 appearance review at 2124 West 183rd Street redevelopment as proposed on the drawing submitted by J. Scott McKay, architect, dated September 25th, 2024, subject to the following conditions. A photometric plan indicating the location and design of all exterior lighting fixtures on the site shall be submitted prior to the issuance of any building permit.
That motion.
Do a second?
I'll second it.
All right, roll call, please.
Member Sheffield,
Aye.
member Quirk,
Yes.
member Clough,
Aye.
Chair Ryman.
Aye. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Amy.
All right, then Michelle. move on
Yeah, next week.
to
Dave's Hot Chicken.
Case 2452, a sign variance for Dave's Hot Chicken at 17631 Halsted Street. Oh. Are you here for Dave's? Okay, I was gonna say, is there any public comment on the previous one, but nobody here. So, okay, Noah?
All right, I'm going to provide a brief introduction for the sign variance for the proposed Dave's Hot Chicken at 17631 Halsted. I have another set of appearance standards that focus mostly on signage, which you can pick a copy and pass it down there. Again, just to reiterate some of our design standards for signage. All right, so to provide some context on where this is located on an outlot site that is just in front of the large Target department store on the east side of Halsted Street. Again, it's an outlot building that was formerly occupied by Mod Pizza. It is located here, so I've outlined the tenant space here, the former Mod Pizza, and you can see the building that we'll be working with this sign variance, as well as the monument sign, which will come up in our discussion. So the applicant has proposed a sign variance for the property. Currently, there's 119.8 square feet of signage permitted on this site with our formula of the frontage times 2.5. So you'll have 119.8 square feet. They would like to request 159.5 square feet of signage. The variance will allow them to complete their signage plans, which are 3 wall signs, a front wall sign, a side wall sign, and a rear wall sign, as well as a new monument sign panel. Then there'll also be an exterior refresh associated with this. It's not part of this review, but some materials have been provided for your context as well for that design.
Can I stop here for a second? Is
Sure.
the 159, is that for the 3 signs or the 3 signs plus the monument?
Plus the monument sign, that's for all signage on the site.
All 4. Thank you.
Yep. So I broke this down into a table. The size of each of those signs, and I'll walk through each one separately, but you can just see that signage. So 159.5 square feet of signage. There is the 118.1 square feet, and then the existing wall signage variance that was previously approved for Mod Pizza, which brings that total to 119.8 square feet. So 39.7 square feet of wall signage is required for, or the variance will be 39.7 square feet of additional signage beyond what is allowed on this building. So just to introduce you to the signage, and the applicant, I'm sure will talk about the signage plans a little bit more.
I'm sorry.
But you will have the front wall sign. That side wall sign is just a small circular disc. It's about 16 square feet or so. Front one being 81 square feet. You'll have the rear one, which is just under 30 square feet, and then that monument sign, which will replace the currently blank wall or monument sign panel along Halsted Street. So just to give you some context of some site how the paint might be done is we worked with Katie, the representative who's here this evening for this project on some potential concepts for the appearance of this project. Again, it's not included in the sign variance review. It's just meant to help you kind of visualize what might go behind these signs rather than the tan that was included here. When the building is ultimately done, it'll look something a little bit more like this. I've highlighted the one that we worked with Katie on, the representative from Dave's Hot Chicken, to kind of work out some details on what that could potentially look like. So regarding the variance, there are some unique circumstances for the Appearance Commission to consider. Again, a variance has to be due to hardship and unique circumstances. It can't just be again, a decision that's not based in specific characteristics of the site. The main things to consider, as detailed in the staff memo, there's frontage on Halsted and 2 public access drives immediately adjacent to this building, entering the shopping plaza behind it. That creates kind of unique frontage considerations for this property. Some outlots will just have 2 frontages or even just 1 along Halsted Street. This has 3, so there's traffic movement moving around this site at all times. So that is something to consider, given that the Halsted Street frontage is the only one that counts towards the sign allowance when we calculate that total, based on how our sign code is written. Also, this is the largest setback for any outlot building on Halsted in our B4 zone. So it's 186 feet setback from the from Halsted. Going back to that image, you can see it's a lot further back than some of the other businesses that you'll find on Halsted. In fact, the setback is over 60 feet larger than the next furthest building away from Halsted, which is KFC, further up Halsted to the north. So again, kind of a unique placement compared to a lot of other outlots. It may create some unique situations for considering signage. I mean, and then ultimately, the previous tenant was allowed signs on 3 sides. They got the variance that allowed a slight increase in that signage. With their variance was much smaller because they had a smaller front wall sign facing Halsted. Mod Pizzas was very small. It was up in the corner of that top facade.
Just to be clear, that's the lower picture, with all the red, that's the one that faces west, right?
So it would be facing west, correct, on just the proposed conceptual design for the exterior, and then facing west as well on the current conditions image above it.
Thank you.
So ultimately, based on the unique circumstances and facts of the case, staff has recommended approval of the sign variance for Dave's Hot Chicken at 17631 Halsted, approving that variance of 39.7 square feet to permit additional signage. So I'll turn it over to the applicant. Thank you.
Yeah, just gonna say it. Katie, it is.
It is.
Hi, Katie.
Good
Welcome.
evening, gentlemen.
We're glad you're here. Come on up.
So as we come into Homewood and really embrace the fact that Noah and Angela have been absolutely fantastic, and this will be our first one to paint
That's
the
why they
exterior.
win awards.
Yeah, they have been fantastic, and it was really helpful too. Noah is familiar with the brand. Not a lot of folks are familiar with the brand. So it is a new up and coming, one of the top growing fast casual restaurants. We're getting ready to actually open one within the next 30 days in Orland. So I'll be opening in Orland here shortly.
We're in Orland.
Right off where the old Mod Pizza used to be.
Oh.
151.
Just following them around.
Yeah, they would just happen to be, they closed them up, but we just happened to pick them up. So it was kind of a quick flip. So we picked up this one too. We're really looking obviously to be noticed. We want to be seen and we want to be that brand of that high energy, high vibe excitement. With that traffic on all 4 sides, we ask for the variance just to be able to be noticed and that guests can see that we are new in town. And obviously embracing the community of some excitement up and down that street with this brand as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Commissioners, have any questions, anything you'd like to talk about, Commissioner Shep?
I realize it's not up to us, but is the building gonna be painted white? I saw a picture.
When we presented the options of how to paint the building, yes, it did come back that they preferred the painting to be white.
Angela, or no? You're gonna paint, they're gonna paint the building white.
So we met with Katie, to discuss some options here, and I put together a grid of all the different, variations that were come up with, in that discussion. And ultimately, we gave just some feedback, some basic feedback. And they, selected to generally go in the direction of concept one, which is, highlighted in red there, which would have the white paint on the walls with the red roof on top.
Okay, you're saying generally, does that mean they're going to do it?
Yes.
Is that your proposal?
Yes, that is the proposal,
That's the only question I had.
yes.
All right.
Just continuing with that idea. Okay, so we got the white paint on the wall. What's the rest of that coloring there?
So we
That
have artists that come out from California, and they're artists that draw and paint on the side of the buildings. So it's a unique hand-drawn kind of display of Dave's Hot Chicken. I don't know if he has a picture that can kind of blow it up a little bit, but it is unique to the brand and unique to the kind of the energy it brings.
Just gonna just do it, just the old fashioned way. We're just gonna take it, we're just gonna blow it up. This way, actually, this one,
No, it's the side one, though.
side one, okay.
Yeah. It's option
Yeah,
one.
this is all one
side.
image in here, and I'll just
Side
keep getting
there.
it bigger and bigger.
Just try it.
Keep going
I
bigger.
do have I have a printout that might
Page
be-
37, you can look at that, that's a little bit
Yeah.
easier to see
I was
than
looking at that.
on the screen. If you squint, that's right.
Okay, I guess my thought is, what is that image? What are those images?
It's like like a cracked, imagine like a peeling back of the wall and like a cracked image that is just different colors artistically drawn on there to kind of see as like it's peeling back, if that's the best way to explain it. It's very unique graphics that are just created on site, and it's a Dave's pattern. I don't have any, I could pull up, I don't know if you're able to pull up,
Can you pull up a?
Roscoe, if you can pull up, I can give you an address. I have it at another restaurant. And it's just artistically drawn lines and paint and kind of looks like it's cracking out. 3643.
It's the same at all your franchises?
No, not every single one is the same. They're all individually different. We just did one in, I'm painting one in Ontario and Wells, downtown Chicago. And that one's a little bit
Roscoe.
different. They're all unique because it's all hand done. So every restaurant is very different on how they paint it. So this building here, you can see there on the side there with the brown rock, they painted that one. And so that's my Chicago restaurant that I'm operating currently right now by Wrigley. And that's their design they created there. So it's just a basics general, because when the gentlemen come to design it, then we have this cracked feeling of opening. And then it also is on the inside as well too, with the artistic ties into the inside of the restaurant as well.
So I'll just say this feels like more sign to me. That you know, that activity on that wall there and those two panels, that feels like more sign. I mean, what's a sign to do? It's to draw interest, especially from passing motorists to your building, to your business. And we've said no many times to people directly across the street from you, you know, on Halsted, who wanted larger signs, and that were not compliant. Okay, and so that, you know, if that's not even included in the 9383, you know what I mean? The total signage that you're asking for is 193. That's right.
No, 56. Well, thank you.
I wrote it down and I've got a lot of stuff here.
Yeah, I've got too many pieces of paper.
For a 39.7
The
variance.
variance of.
The variance would be
39.7.
39. And I absolutely would be willing to, you know, the side, if we paint like that, if we remove that side, the circular sign on that side of the building, I'd absolutely, would agree to that and then just put the one in the back that can be visible on the back side of it. If you take that into consideration.
On which side?
The side building where you were just explaining where the paint was,
That would be the south side.
so
That's 16 square feet.
that,
Oops, side view, go back.
right there. I mean, I would absolutely have no problem removing that one and, request the back one to reduce the variance amount if that's an option.
So this is your, this is your business, but
I mean, obviously, I would love all of my signs, the request for the variance on all three of the sides. We definitely create that energy, excitement and the draw into town with the volume that we normally do within our business.
I guess my thought is, this south-facing view is the one that is, in my mind, again, I don't own this place, but in my mind, this is the important one, because this is the one that faces, Halsted. Or most of it,
They faces the alleyway,
No.
right?
okay,
This,
well, the other one.
Doesn't face all.
The rear one, see the bottom says rear next to it, that's
Yeah.
the back, and the side is, that's his
That's
side
the
is
side.
south.
side is just like a
Side
driveway.
is-
Yeah, where it says side, that's his.
Okay,
south.
so that's what, Taco Bell next to it?
No,
It
it
used to be
is,
Subway's, they're gone.
I wanna say a strip mall, it's a strip mall, but I don't remember exactly who is at the very end there, but it's a,
Next to your business.
no, Freddy's is on the opposite side.
Okay, great.
And then I forget, that I thought it was a strip mall across
It is.
the
I think
alleyway.
it's,
Well,
Um,
Subway used to be adjacent to your building, but you're talking on the other side of the access.
she's talking
drive.
about the other.
Correct.
side.
Yes, he's asking about the other side to the access, and I'm very sorry, so I believe it's a strip mall.
Yeah, it is. It's,
It has multi-tenant.
I can't,
Jewel, the big main building, and then it's Vision Works.
Vision Works and
Accidental.
Yeah.
An outlot.
Hold on, that's on the other side of the street.
No.
No, sir, same side of the street.
no, it's not.
Is this going in where, is this going in where the pizza joint is? That's on the other side of the street from Jewel.
No,
No,
it's
it's
on the
not.
same side.
Same side.
It's in the Target, which is just to the north of Jewel.
Mhm.
It's
I
on the
was
same
just
side
there
of the
today.
street as Jewel.
Wow.
It's in front of Jewel.
Unfortunately, very confused. Okay, while we got that, I'm gonna say one more thing, and that is. While we got that picture up that just came down. It seemed to me that, that had a concept or a use. Where your sign went around the corner. It seemed like you had two faces in that building in Wrigley that you showed us. That had two faces that were important to you. One was on one busy street and one was on the parking lot. And to me, that could have been well adapted to this. You know what I mean? Putting a wraparound sign.
I'm very sorry, but I don't have a wraparound sign in Chicago, and so that's why I think I'm confused.
Okay, can we go back to the one that she just showed us? Is that the,
It's there.
There's
Target.
just two different signs, it's just the artwork that's drawn on the side
okay,
of the
yeah,
building.
okay, I'm sorry. So the. Okay, not the sign, but the artwork goes around the corner, and I'm saying. If you did that same thing around the corner with a sign, much like the Homewood Brewery did. I think that,
But this
That
building
might be
isn't really
something.
set up that way.
There's windows,
It's got windows.
there's windows.
You couldn't do that.
Room for that. There's existing windows on that building.
I'm talking right at the corner.
Right, there's windows
Yes.
at the corner.
Windows here, wrapping around the corner, windows there.
There's
Windows.
numerous pictures there that show it.
Those are windows. There isn't really the same design.
That's, okay.
Commissioner Clark.
Actually, the colors, I see it as a draw, not so much advertising the business, it's something of interest. Much like you see the stucco finishes on Mexican restaurants with the bricks going through.
Yeah.
That's not advertising a Mexican restaurant, so it's interest to me.
It does,
I
yeah.
think it's something that not really signage.
Yeah, we definitely I built one in Batavia too, that kind of has this signage as well too, and I don't know if you're able to pull up the Batavia pictures.
Sure.
But they have, the same type of thing, decorated on the outside exterior as well. It's hard to say if this is gonna be the exact rendering when artists come to do it, and you
Sure.
hope they follow a print.
Oh, yeah.
But you can see here, this
That's
is my
big.
Batavia restaurant that we
That's
just,
a big sign.
that has a 9-foot sign.
That is a big sign.
On both sides, that's the largest sign package I think I've ever put in a restaurant, but, they're 9-foot chicken signs, but again, it's just draws that excitement and kind of artistic.
As far as the other signage, the extra square footage, I was by there, I was by there today myself. There's a lot of landscape on the front. There's bushes, there's trees, more than anyone. KFC's got nothing. They got their monument sign there, so they're fully exposed. I go past that all the time. I'm at Menards and I forget all the time that Mod Pizza was there. And I didn't even realize till today that Subway was closed. Because I am there like 3 days a week at least at Jewel. And I'm going to Menards and you never even notice it. You got 45 miles an hour on there. So I'm in favor of the signage because you are
Brings
set back so far.
excitement. Yeah, and be able to be recognized so far back from the street,
Hmm.
you know, like how do you get that recognition?
Right,
You know, how do you get that excitement to be driven into that business?
yeah, so I definitely am in favor of it. I'm also in favor of hot spicy chicken. I like chicken and as the name says, cluck, very similar.
There you go.
A, not a C. So.
Oh, for goodness sakes, you had to tie that in.
Yeah, I like chicken.
I would not have thought of that.
Anything else?
No.
All right. I'm not too thrilled about a variance for more signage, personally. Nor am I real excited about how bright that is and white that is, because one of the things that we're charged with looking at is this harmonious to the rest of the area? And while the red roof part of it is sort of matching target behind it. And I appreciate artistic expression, very much so. I'm just not sold on all this white. I actually was looking at the third picture that was provided there. Not that, but yeah, with a little more muted.
That one.
This one?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, that's the existing tan paint,
Yeah.
with some of the inserts from, for Dave's, and then the signage on top.
But I also know that Mod Pizza didn't last very long because nobody saw the place. My wife and I talked many times about going to Mod Pizza. And we just forget about it because A, they don't advertise. We never saw advertisement and just never noticed it there. There wasn't much there. I don't think we have much of a say on the paint, right? That's not our job. No, just the signage. Although we can make suggestions. If
Gotta be harmonious.
right, if it is supposed to be harmonious with the rest of the area. And I'm also, as these guys know, I tend to think out loud here too. I also understand that you want to be seen. And that's extremely important. I would probably be. I'm working this through. I would probably be okay with keeping number one, but the signage, I think all of number one, I mean the left group of paintings.
Concept one.
Concept, thank you, but I'm still not thrilled because it seems like everybody wants a variance. Everybody wants their sign bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I think if concept one is used, believe me, people are gonna see it. And I understand the need to be recognized. I certainly will see that. The community will see that. But I don't think we need, if you're gonna do that, I don't think we need a variance that's as large as we're talking about. I mean, we're talking 118 feet to 156 feet. We did give 1.7 to the previous to Mod, which may or may not have been enough because of their location. You had talked about agreeing to make one of those chicken faces, for lack of another way to put it, smaller.
On the side of the building, there's currently a circular, I believe it's right around 36-inch sign on that circular building, and I don't have my notes on me, Noah, how many square footage that circular one is, and I'd be okay taking that one off because it does that one does go to the entryway. And then, but I would really request to please add the one in the back, the rear that's able to be seen
Yeah,
from that access
I
road.
understand that.
So that-
Would you be, Angela, maybe you need to answer this, in the window, if they have one of those chicken faces, I'm sorry, in the window that is one of those that can be, you can look in and look out. What do you call that? Where you, I see that on buses and stuff where people can look out.
Oh, yeah, like a.
Is that considered signage?
It is.
I was looking for a way to,
Yeah, I mean, if,
a way around that. So the chicken on the side, not the back, that is how many square feet?
12.5.
The sign on the back,
on the
No, not
side.
the
the
back.
side is 16 square feet, the circular one is 16, 4 feet
16.
by 4 feet.
That's boxed at 16 square feet,
This,
the round one. Says 16 square feet boxed, 12.5 actual.
12.5.
That would be
Yeah.
approximately a 23-foot variance then. 23 square foot
For
variance.
the rear, the
No,
rear sign, what is the
Side.
sign? on that?
oh, the side, the rear one is, I think, 29 points, I have it here, 0.5.
Well, I definitely want to, I know we don't have say in this, but I prefer concept 3. Way over concept 1, but that's not, that would be my recommendation, but we can't, that's not our charge to vote on. But I'm not personally real excited about giving it yet another large variance. Removing the chicken on the side, but leaving it on, I know why you need it on the back, people need to see it, I get that.
Yes, sir.
I would probably be okay with the variance if we were to remove the one on the side. But I also would like other commissioners' input on what they think about something like that, or a compromise of some sort like that as well. So Commissioner Pluck, what are you thinking?
I actually,
This is.
earlier when I was talking about the painting. The way it's described is, like peeling back and, my scenario of it's similar to stucco and exposing bricks, that I honestly like the tan one. And it's probably less of an expense for you for doing it.
Concept 3, you're saying?
Concept 3.
That's the one I.
So the issue is, obviously we need more signage, but, if just eliminating the circular chicken one on the south side. Now. I know you can't do something graphic on the window, but how about a hanging fixture, such as where like Jimmy John has neon lights?
A neon chicken in the window hanging?
Well, a circular one, that's a window with the light, full chain.
It still ties into signage, from my
It-
understanding, if I put a logo on it.
Yeah.
I mean, I do
What
believe
about
it's
Jimmy
signage.
John's?
It depends on how.
I think Jimmy John says fresh and hot, or like
Well,
free smells.
Something like
that it doesn't
There's another
pertain
different
to-
one. I
yeah.
built a Jimmy John's.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's years ago, signage was that.
Yeah.
15 plus 16 years
How
ago.
far it
But
is.
yeah, there's all, they have fresh and free smells and stuff.
And I
like
do,
that,
in the
so-
interior too, it's decorated as well, will match the exterior, and we do put neons.
Mhm.
That are not meant to be, they kind of go with the theme of the restaurant, so.
Okay.
We'll pick, they'll come in, they'll do their research on Homewood, they'll find out what Homewood's known for, we tie it in. Orland, for example, we tied it in, it's the Golf Hole America, I don't know if anyone knew that,
Oh,
knew
yeah.
that. So, we got Dave out there and he's golfing, you know what I mean, so we'll always tie into the community on the interior, and that's where we'll put a neon on the interior on, that part of
Whether
it.
you're.
Yes.
I just thought it was a way to get your logo out there.
Yeah.
but Get it on that south side,
Yeah.
because
Definitely.
that's an exit area right there.
Yeah.
Entry and exit that you want to capture the.
But I think in looking at it too, the back exterior, I think would be just much more
Right.
valuable with guests that would be going into the Target, going into the Menards, driving up and down.
Exactly.
Yeah, that opportunity.
Commissioner Sheffield? What's your thoughts on?
I very much dislike concept 1. But that's not my charge.
Right, I think 3 of us at least so far dislike.
Just like.
I think it's,
Concept 1.
I think it's dislike it.
Dislike,
Yes, it's too, I think it's very garish,
but, yeah,
but that's not our charge, so.
what about the sign? Small, but very,
Well,
shrinking the sign.
I can also statistically, we've started doing these 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, I built my first one out in Naperville. Statistically, sales volume for exterior paint can increase that traffic and sales to your restaurant by up to 30% statistically across the entire United States. Whether we're in Texas or we're anywhere like that, the exterior brings that energy in. We don't advertise. We're not, it's more of an underground following, social media, Instagram. So the exterior does really contribute to the increase in sales all across, whether it's the Midwest, the South, or the East or West. As this brand continues to grow and develop. So-
Understood,
Yeah,
but I think in my, what I'm looking at, the contrast between the very bright primary colors and the stark whiteness of the building, I don't like that appearance. You have the bright colors on number 3, but, and it's certainly visible. And I find that more pleasing, but there again, that's not my charge to decide that.
But we can be of comment and input.
Yeah, and that'll get you 20 cents or
Oh, yeah, 30.
30.
inflation. Anything else?
No, I, that's all I have.
Commissioner,
Thank you.
well, I have strong reservations about this entire proposal because the law is written very clearly. And it says you will grant a variance if there's hardship. Not if it's better, not if, nationwide studies have proven or anything like that. It's a hardship. And I haven't heard that word once tonight. And I don't see this as a hardship for you. Would be better? Maybe. But we've held the line with all the other retailers, all the other buildings that, in that entire area. And, okay, so that's one that you're asking us to bend the rules, let's say. But the other one is, all of these proposals are, again, not just size, but coloring and, I think garishness is the word that was used as well, which I would agree with. And it just bends all the rules too many times.
if I may, it does say signage colors, as Commissioner Sheffield just pointed out. Should be harmonious and with restraint.
Yep.
But does that extend to painting? Is my question. To the village.
Well, we did that with,
Something to consider,
KFC, right?
and what happened with that?
Well, I don't know.
Nothing.
and
Yeah.
in regards to that hardship, in regards to that,
KFC
with
is
the
built.
landscaping in the front and as far
Right.
back as it is pushed off of Halsted, it's not noticeable. It's definitely not a restaurant that's going to be front curb facing as in Freddy's, as in, KFC has no landscaping. We are set further back in the inlet. So when it comes to the frontage clearance, that's what I am looking for, to be able to be noticed and to be able to thrive in the location.
I would point out that KFC is white and red. Currently.
They redid it? I mean,
No, it's a white building. It always has been.
But we had reservations.
yes, we have reservation.
We had, we tried to compel them to change the coloration of that building. So to say it's red and white is not really a very compelling discussion for me.
Well, I'm just talking about the context. If you're talking about the context of the area, the KFC is a white building with red
But
on
they
it.
don't have if they do not, they have red and white most definitely, but they don't have all the other colors that are appearing on the signs.
Yes.
Or the graphics that are occurring on the sides of the buildings. They
Yeah,
don't.
I know.
Signs are only 3 colors, the red, the white, and the yellow. Again, just to clarify, these areas that are painted are not considered painted signs because they don't include commercial messaging.
I understand that, and I preface my remarks about that,
Yeah.
that's not in our control.
Right.
But it actually, there's all the primary colors on the front sign appears, the best I can tell.
White and red, yes, the
Beg your
front
pardon?
sign is white and red.
It is.
All right, well,
Uh,
since we don't have a say necessarily other than giving input on the colors.
Yeah,
We need to look at the variance and whether or not we're willing to give the variance then, because we've said, we certainly have given our input on the colors and the look of it. We need to turn our, I think, attention to the variance of requesting 39.7 feet. And 118 feet is what is allowed, correct?
119.8 is what is permitted right now.
119.8 is what's permitted now. So. With that, I don't think I'm willing to do a variance. I think it's gonna be certainly noticeable enough, that's for sure. I don't know that I'm willing to do a variance for the signage. I think keeping it at 119.8 would be my recommendation for me. It's just me. Does anybody else want to speak about this?
Go back to the chart with all.
No, I don't think I'm.
I think it was pretty clear that I would agree with that position.
Commissioner Buck? So they would. Two of these.
I think it's obvious that it needs the exposure
It's going
because of the
exposure.
setback.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
I think it's obvious it needs more exposure because mod didn't last in there too long. Prior to that was Taylor Shoes, right? I believe. People looking for shoes, they know about it, okay. But, I don't know, it's.
I think the colors that are gonna be on there are certainly gonna be noticed. People are gonna see it. People are gonna look that way. That's where I'm at.
Yes,
So I think we're ready.
may I say something?
Yes, absolutely.
I stand corrected. I'm looking at the concept signs. And the concept signs show the front facade being primary colors, but the sign designs show what you said, the white.
The, behind the signs, yes.
These,
There was a backer.
these all show the front on the, over the front of the building. They show it being with primary colors.
He's commenting that there's a painted section behind the background of the sign, so the background of the sign is red, that's elevated out as a. With relief.
No,
out
that's
as a
not what,
cabinet.
that's not what I'm saying. If you look at the front facade,
Different signs.
it's not just red and white and yellow. There's other colors there on the graphics that you submitted to us.
Blue, green,
Okay,
black.
On that, if you go back to that picture. is
Front
where it's
top.
discussing
there you go.
it.
You can see it there.
Right there.
Right,
Right, but the details show it to be red, white and yellow.
That detail that on that you're showing me right now, that's the monument sign there.
Okay,
So
but,
that one there is the monument.
but it says on all the other ones too, right?
Well, that would go on top of what's painted behind it. What is
Okay.
painted
Okay,
behind
like
it.
that,
It's
yeah.
not signage, it's painted on the, behind the sign.
that.
The sign is only red and white.
I have a question for clarification. Is the sign gonna look like this straight across, or is it gonna look like the other exhibit?
It's going to look how it was drawn.
okay. I have no idea
Like,
what
go
color
back.
it'll be.
Like
Yes,
that?
like-
this is the formal signs in
Yeah.
the middle here, these
That's-
concept images are straight across here.
Yeah, it's different. Okay.
So it'll be stacked like that on
Because-
that.
Yeah,
White and red. The painted pictures that you were looking for the concept were just concepts that they put
Okay,
together.
thank you.
They were just drawings.
I was
They
correct,
were-
I was
yeah.
correcting myself.
Yeah, they were just drawings. They were not actual what will be. there.
Got it.
But it's just to be noticed and to be seen within the community, to create that.
Thank you.
Okay, we've said a lot. I think we need to. Find that page. To, vote. Okay, so. This is to approve. The variance. Yes or no, an approval of the variance. So do I have a motion to approve case 2452? Sign variance, Dave's Hot Chicken at 17631 Halsted Street. To permit an increase in maximum sign area from 119.8 square feet to 159.5 square feet. And approve sign plans as approved on the drawings submitted by Design Team Sign Company dated May 31st, 2024.
So moved.
Seconded?
I second it.
All right, roll call please.
Member Shefkey,
Aye.
member Quirk,
No,
member Cluck,
I,
Chair Rymack.
No. So it does not pass.
Right.
So you would have to stick, I believe it is, you'd have to stay within the 119.8 square feet,
Mhm.
yeah.
Correct.
I would say keep that monument sign where the way it is my suggestion, because people need to see that. But the others maybe somehow smaller.
Make them smaller.
Right, if the, well, so if currently looking at the table, if she, if the front sign as proposed and the monument sign is built, both of those as proposed, that's about 97% of the area that's permitted, that's most of the 119 square feet, so.
You have to reduce the front and
Yeah.
the back.
If I were to take away that round sign on the side, but that 16 square feet, reduce that rear wall sign, or the. Reduce that rear wall sign at that point, would that be acceptable?
I mean,
That would
if you-
reduce the area of the variance.
As long as you're within the square footage, right?
what would that?
It
be?
would need, no, well, that's what I'm asking, if
What
I
would
could
that-
remove the 16 square feet from the side wall sign there. And then reduce the lettering that's on the rear wall sign, because currently it's at a 29.5, and if I'm able to reduce that sign down to just the circular, so remove the 29.5 and replace it with the 16. Does that make sense, Noah?
What would that bring it down to?
That would bring it down to, I
Let's
would be
see.
taking off
So you're at
30.
Minus,
9.7 square feet. Ask,
so you're taking the 16.
because right now I would take off the 16 square feet. And then I would reduce the rear wall sign lettering. Yeah,
how much?
I mean, I could
20.
easily get it down to 20 inches,
9.5. That puts you at 134.
which would reduce it down by
Minus
25
1.
square feet ask, if I can just have the
So if
rear.
you would you would That's remove, 15.
You would remove.
That's cutting it in half,
It's kind of the, yeah.
the variance in half.
I would remove the side sign.
Side sign
Yes, sir, and I would reduce the lettering on the rear
by,
by, I would reduce the rear lettering to a 20.5 square foot. To be able to get that rear sign lit, so that guests are able to see it from that back parking lot. Cause at night, regardless of, whether the building is white or brown, it could be a hard push to see it. And just to be able to be noticed through that back alleyway.
so that would be a variance of what now, or whoever's doing the math?
I think 15.9.
Right, if you cut 16 out and then plus an additional 9.5 square feet off of the rear sign, you'll have 15.9 square feet for the variance instead of 39.7.
Which is less than half of what was originally
I think you should
requested.
do your math again.
Yeah, let's.
Is that wrong?
Cause if you take 16 at 9, that's 25, right? 25 from 39 is not 16.
No, well,
39 minus
Oh,
5, 25
second
is
thought.
14, right?
Yeah.
so it's even less.
Yeah.
Somebody give me the numbers, because I'm writing other things down.
Less.
We would remove the side wall sign 100%, so that's minus 16 feet.
Right,
And then I could reduce the lettering on the back side of it to 20 feet. So we're 16 plus 9.5, so we're looking at 25.5 minus from the 39. So you're looking at a 14.3 sign variance request, is that correct?
Correct.
uh,
My math is it.
118.1. I still get 15.9. I'm doing something wrong.
39.7 minus 16,
Minus the 16 feet from the
yep,
wall
that's
sign,
23.7,
and then minus now 9.5.
14.2.
The re,
Is the remaining request.
so instead of doing the 39.7, it would be the request variance of the 14.2 to be able to keep a back sign. Just that back sign on there.
So it is less than half.
But this is certainly a compromise that.
Certainly a
I'm
lot
comfortable
less.
with that. I'm not big about giving variances in Austin anymore, but, that'll be. I think that'll be okay for me. What are the other? Commissioner Sheffield.
It's fine. I voted for it the way it's existing, so.
You voted for it.
So if you do that, is that letter sign, so the Days Hot Chicken, is that gonna do any good?
It'll still be lit, so I guess that are going into Target or going into Menards or driving through that back side of it. I absolutely think that back sign would be more valuable than the side sign. I don't know how much traffic comes in and out when into that shopping center there, but sometimes when I go into a shopping center, I usually have a mission. So I don't always have sometimes pay attention on the
Let's do the
sign.
math, to say, what is that? Now, if we allow a 14 square additional feet. What is that above the allowed? I mean,
14.2.
I'm sorry?
14.2 square
No,
feet.
no, what is that as a percentage of the allowed?
Oh,
Oh, sure, I can calculate.
So 14.2 divided by the 118.
Yep,
I don't have my phone on.
I got it.
It's gonna be a variance from 119.8
10%.
square feet to 134 square
Yeah,
feet.
that's now an 11% increase in signage as opposed to the original, I think it was 33.
I can-
Yeah, or 33.
if you round which I would.
Yeah, that's-
All right, so I think I have this, I hope, fingers crossed. So do I have a motion, another motion, new motion to approve case 2452? A sign variance for Dave's Hot Chicken at 17631 Halsted Street to permit an increase in maximum sign area from 119.8 square feet to 134 square feet, which would include, do I need to even say this about the side of the side? The side of the side.
It would include reducing the,
It would, removing the 16-foot sign on the south side of the building and decreasing the signage on the rear by 20.5 feet.
By reducing it by 9.5.
On the rear by 9.5 feet,
Yes, sir.
making a total variance of 14.2 square feet. And approve, the sign, okay, what about the sign plans as proposed? Do I remove that part?
No, they're there.
as proposed on the front,
But
you can just
plan-
say on the.
The placement's
east,
not
right
there.
on
And approve the
the
sign
west.
plans proposed in the drawing
East and
submitted by
west.
Design Team Sign Company dated May 31st, 2024. I think I said that correctly.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay,
one other consideration, and I like that part. But what about the colors?
It's not our purpose.
it's not ours.
That's not.
It's not ours. We've given our recommendations. But we can't vote on it.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
roll call please.
Member Shefke,
Aye.
member Quirk,
Yes,
member Clough,
I,
Chair Ryan.
Aye.
Great.
All right,
There you go.
that worked it out.
Thank you.
Thank you for compromising.
I
We
appreciate you.
that.
Thank you.
Very, very much.
And
Thank you.
welcome to Homewood.
Welcome.
Welcome to the village.
I live right next door, so this is, will be the closest one to my house, so I'm super excited.
Right next door, like across the street.
Like Bridgeton Park,
Okay.
okay.
So
That's
we're
close, yeah.
right next
That's
door,
close.
but we come to Homewood for everything,
So,
so yeah.
there's a real good gas station right
I
there.
did. I was kind of excited when there was a new restaurant coming, so I always were Stony Point, we were super excited to see them come, and they've been great the couple of times that we've
Good.
gone.
Yeah.
So I was excited to
And you
see,
can get gas right there, you know, that Shell station.
it's pretty cheap, and it's like, what,
What are your, what's your time frame for opening?
I have 3 of them, I'm opening pretty quick. If
I,
I have my way, I'll open before the end of the year.
okay,
Wow.
great.
I'll
The
open.
way they're going with construction, I can see it.
Yeah, they're already
I've been
building
out
out.
there a couple of times for construction.
Yeah, we're
so.
trying to, open by the end of the year.
Just one other thing, are you keeping that patio, that gated?
Yes,
that, paved patio?
We left everything left everything, no
Okay.
changes to that whatsoever.
Was all the other mat stores have that back outdoor patio?
A majority of them do, yes.
Well, just like the other applicant earlier, he said people are into patios.
And that's the big thing, we
People
have a
really are.
patio in Naperville, and that thing's still, I mean, the weather, I don't know how the weather has been so hot, but it's, people are out there eating.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful, so, thank you so much, I do.
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, our next item agenda is old business. I have a couple things, but Commissioner Clark, do you have anything you'd like to talk about regarding old business?
No.
Commissioner Quirk?
Nope.
Commissioner Chang? I just wanted to say that I went to Essence Salon today. So far, there doesn't seem to be a change.
No, they haven't. We just sent over, I think last week or the week before, time's flying this fall. The letter of the formal approval, once you had had a chance to look at it, and then the sign review was completed, so. Building inspector took a look at it just to make sure everything was good to go. They got their decision letter, so that should change in the next couple weeks here, now that they've got the go ahead to go forward.
Isn't the black sign changed?
Mhm. It's
I
not
think
black.
they
think so.
did,
It's not black. It's not black anymore.
I think they did something.
It's
Beige.
it's got,
It
the
looked
print is way bigger,
more readable.
very
Yeah.
much more
Something.
readable.
Yeah,
Maybe
could be
they
I guess
different.
that was-
Could be. I wasn't, I looked at the other two signs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at it.
I saw St. Joe's sign is there,
Mhm.
except that base is that yellow, doesn't that go all, I guess we. Do that. The Gott's Chalk House looks very good. They finished that.
It does.
The casino is. Interesting. It's very busy. Although I would say that. On the interior of the casino parking lot, that. My wife and I were having a little bit of difficulty figuring out how to get out of there. Because the signage inside there. Unless it just wasn't all up.
It wasn't up.
I believe it wasn't all up
Okay.
because I had the same comment. We went in
Yep.
circles trying to figure out how to get out of there, but I believe the signage wasn't completely up. Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, good. So I feel better about that because I thought
Yeah.
we're missing something. Or
Nope,
new glasses or what? Okay.
I was
it's
lost.
all that excitement from the gambling, that's all.
Yeah, that's what, yeah, well, my wife did. What else? Oh, the mural. I saw the mural on downtown wall by Stony Point.
I'm sorry.
Is that Christmas?
Yeah, something like that.
It's interesting. Not quite what I expected it to be, but then I didn't. I don't know. I like that it represents. Areas of home, which is what we asked them to do, but my. First thought when I walked in there was, oh, okay, so you got a good start on it. You'll finish it in the spring, right? Is that the entire,
I believe it is. Yeah.
anybody else notice that?
I haven't seen it yet, so I can't.
You might wanna look at it.
Yep.
There's
$7,000.
there's some very creative work in there and Commissioner Clark mentioned to me that something I didn't see. Apparently he has the word Homewood in there
He
somewhere.
does.
I guess I did, which is creative. It just wasn't quite what I expected, but yeah, it's simplistic yet nice. Okay, all right.
And he also has, I might add, the theme, let me just call them like. Theme pictures, squares of different pictures, there's train tracks
Yeah,
running through in different locations as well.
Yeah,
And
and I like
it is a different,
Dairy Queen was represented, a lot of the casino was represented, a lot of different, so that.
I haven't looked at it since it's been finished. I'll have to go back and look. I didn't
I
see,
didn't know it was up.
I didn't see the casino.
I didn't know it was up.
I feel like he keeps adding to it, but I don't know if he's finished now. I think he is.
I brought this up 1 or 2 meetings ago. Any discussion by anybody about the western entrance landscape plan? Yeah, which I brought up a while ago.
Western entrance.
Third.
Yeah.
Well, Kedzie, yeah.
No,
Okay.
not yet.
Just thought I know I dropped that in there. I
Bring it
thought
up
maybe
again.
Somebody may hear something about it. All right, the next item that I have is new business. I'm looking at the clock. And I'm wondering if we need to just hold this on.
That is an hour fast, just to be clear.
No,
That-
I'm looking at the 7:30.
Okay,
Because this is probably gonna be, I think I may stimulate quite a bit of discussion with the new business. Do you guys want to go through with this or you want to hold off for another?
Up into it for a while.
All right, so the first thing I was wondering about was what we just talked about, painting on new buildings. We have a new ordinance coming up. The painting on those buildings, I think we were unanimous in our agreement that it was not harmonious with the surrounding area. It was What's the word? Garish, it just doesn't work. I appreciate the artist, the artistic part of it, I appreciate they want to stand out, but. If something like this comes up in the future, I'm just wondering if we can. Somehow add into the new ordinance that we have a say in that, the appearance commission. I know we're gonna hear about this. I suspect we're gonna hear about the painting and then the brightness of this chicken place, not chicken place. From people in the community, and they're gonna be asking us, and it's not our charge. What do you guys, how would you like to talk about that? What do you think? Input, Commissioner Sheffield, what do you think?
I'm surprised that we don't have any say or any control over it.
We
It's
don't.
not logical.
Okay. Commissioner
Okay,
Ford.
okay, I'm very unclear, because I've heard our responsibility defined several different ways. And harmonious is kind of always in there. But I don't know, I guess I'm a big word guy. And so that was about as unharmonious as I've ever seen, you know?
Because
It just wasn't, it just
Yeah.
wasn't. I mean, it was garish. Garish is the word. And so I say, all right, if that's what's written into our ordinance, then we gotta write a different word in there.
I think we need to address that in the new ordinance somehow, because it's not considered signage, therefore we can't have a say in it.
You know-
Well, in this case, it's signage, I think. I think that was
Well, I
signage.
would agree.
Because
The whole paint of the building was a sign.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
No, I'm saying the color, if you paint your building, even if it's part of your corporate identity. In some sense, that's a sign, the building's a sign. And I realize I'm going in a direction that's not consistent with the way we practice it. But. What? Is that for me? Is that for me, Noah?
Yeah,
go Sorry.
ahead and tell them.
Sure, so the couple different angles here, so the issue so one of the challenges we have with color and regulating color is. One, we don't require a building permit, we don't need a licensed contractor or anything
Right,
like that
right.
for color. So there isn't a clear trigger for, oh, this can go to appearance commission, the way that we do with signs. Where, oh, there's a building permit required, so we have to look at it no matter what, and we have the authority to elevate it to you for a sign, and then thus you can say, we'd like to see, a certain sign. We don't have that for color. So that's one challenge. The other challenge is this debate that you're mentioning.
Can you stop
is-
it there for a second?
Sure,
Can we change that?
it would create staff time. I mean, we
Okay.
would,
It would require a change of the ordinance.
I don't know that.
That's what
the
we're
building
talking about.
Yeah,
department would-
oh, no, the village ordinance, not just the sign ordinance, it would require a change of the Homewood municipal code.
I don't know that
Because
we
it's not
want to,
listed in there as a requirement for needing a permit.
I don't know that we want to issue a
Let's-
building permit for paint.
Let's
That,
say-
and you have
the-
to talk to
the-
Napoleon and Chris.
Let's say that one of the buildings, for example, the
It
building we
actually
dealt with.
says in the code right now that we don't require a contractor to register for painting.
Let's say
So
the
if we're
building,
changing that, the village code has to change.
let's say one of the buildings down the street on Ridge Road, one of the office buildings. Decided to paint it like rainbow cones is painted. That's not in our control. And that, I think, is an example of why we need to, and that's what you're getting at, we need to have, whether it's us or someone else needs to have some sort of say on it,
Yeah, right, it doesn't have to be us, but somebody.
yeah.
and
Maybe not somebody's house, but.
so, right, so one of the challenges too. Is then that if we require a permit for that, differentiating with different uses, single family you mentioned is off limits, but the non-residential is on limits, like it's very difficult to manage. And then additionally, you just given the number of buildings that get repainted in a year in Homewood, we would probably double our permit count. And
Easily.
in,
I-
it
yeah,
would,
we're painting in
we
20,
would
have
look
extra
at nothing but building
permit for
color
paint.
upstairs.
20 right now, and we issue this fiscal year through the end of April. So, I mean, right now,
I'm
we're
sorry,
on par
we're
for easily
920
12
or
permits
what?
just this year.
Building permits.
Right,
We would never issue a
Building-
permit for painting. It's not building, it's not construction.
But
Yeah.
can it be somehow worded that if the painting on a business is not harmonious with the surrounding area.
It's very
Yeah,
subjective.
we'll never see it. That's the problem is there's nothing that they don't have to bring drawings to us if they repaint a building. And that's the challenge here. However, you're getting to a point that I think is very important and or Jim, I think you were, or Member Shefke, you were going in that direction, which is when does it become a sign, for example? And that's something we can look at with our sign code. So you mentioned here, for example, some of that gets very close to being commercial messaging. So that could be considered a painted sign if it has something that is explicitly commercial messaging. And that's something that we could bring forward because we could write our sign code in a way where it creates a very broad definition for a painted sign. And then we could start to bring painted signs forward for consideration by you. So that's not full building paint, but in this instance where you have panels that are painted a certain way, that could potentially be a painted sign.
That's the answer I was looking for, something like that. To
Right.
at least have some say.
Now, you have to be very careful with that as well, and we would have to work with Chris, the village attorney, on this because you can go too far with that and accidentally, because if you start regulating things that don't have that commercial messaging component, say if you start regulating someone's ability to paint a building with a mural or something like that, you can run into legal challenges very quickly. So Reed versus Gilbert obviously affected Gilbert, Arizona, with what was considered commercial messaging, not commercial messaging. There's a lot of detail to that case.
If you drew a mural of Colonel Sanders on the side of Kentucky Fried, is that a sign?
We would need to classify it as a
mural?
painted sign and probably need to promote more
Painted
clarity.
Sign.
It-
Well, how's it different from that stuff that
We
you?
So-
don't regulate it right now.
Well, so we do very little regulation. So all this, think all new sign code, and this is all feedback we can integrate in the sign code, which you'll see a draft of soon. So if you have something like the painted brickwork, for example, one could argue that that isn't a painted sign because there isn't an explicit commercial message. If they put a chicken sandwich that's 30 feet tall, 30 feet long on there and paint that, that would be considered a painted sign because it's commercial messaging.
go.
And a sign is something that is trying to provide a message through whatever whatever structure you're trying to build, or in this case, paint you're trying to create.
In
If it-
order to be able to do that, and I see
Right.
what you're saying with that. This is a unique situation, very, I think, unique situation. Gee, didn't we just have one last time too? Very unique situation in that it's not necessarily part of their corporate, but it is part of their corporate.
Mhm.
And it's not promoting their sandwiches inside, it's artwork. But it's
Mhm.
garish. And it puts us in a spot where we're here talking about this, trying to decide what to do.
Based on what you're saying, it would not be considered a sign, given your definition that you're using. All the stuff on the sign.
Right, which again, we'd want to consult the village attorney, figure out where that line
Yeah.
really exists, just because, again, we don't want to create we don't want to create a situation where we start calling things signs that aren't signs or missing things that are signs that we want to be careful with that. So we can
Like
start that
Even the
discussion.
mural.
Murals are a challenge with dealing with sign codes. And that's, that's something we need to take a closer look at. We can talk to Chris about, I think, Angela. I think we can at least bring it up.
Commissioner Clark, anything you want to add?
Only that part of this, that what we're discussing here is a perfect example of, it's painting, but look at all the different portillos. I don't think that there's probably not two exactly
Exactly.
the same.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
They all have different themes.
so, but that's painting, so do we regulate when they painted that?
No, but we asked them to make it related to Homewood, and they did,
Sure.
which
Yeah.
wasn't promoting their business.
Mhm.
And it looked harmonious, and it also promoted our town.
Sure.
So.
Oh,
yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm just saying this comes to
Yeah,
mind
no,
while,
but yeah.
while we're talking about this, it's like, wait a minute, if we're painting something.
Mhm.
I mean, Portillo's does they build buildings to make them look old.
Right.
Exactly.
And-
In
That's
Moreland
part of their
Park,
brand.
at
Yeah.
Tinley Park, it's like an old brew house. You got guys rolling out a keg.
Yes.
you know, on the painted wall.
Yeah, no,
Stuff
yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
so it's interesting.
It's
So so.
It's
So-
a fine line to walk, and they certainly gave us stuff to talk about here.
Right, from a staff perspective, I think the easiest first step that can be done, and it's something that's already, you know, in the outline for the new sign code, is to clarify the definition of a painted sign and provide some parameters around what counts as a painted sign, what isn't. Maybe include a graphic or two as well that demonstrates that line a little bit more clearly. So at least we're all operating with that same language. And then Angela and I, we can talk to Chris, or we can start to kind of investigate how we can, yeah, where we draw that line, I guess, and how we want to state that in a new sign ordinance.
I suspect this is not ground that hasn't been plowed by other jurisdictions.
Correct. I can point to one case in my former municipality in Arizona where there was a dog care that had and this is kind of a fun one to try to work with. You had a dog care center that had a dog painted on the side of it. Is that commercial messaging or not? And ultimately it was, and was treated as a painted sign, which wasn't allowed in that particular location. But again, this is the trickiness, and what we have to be really
Nope.
careful with is that dog commercial messaging. It doesn't say the name of the business. It doesn't, it's not,
Understood.
you know,
Right.
So is that a separate signage? You have signage for physical signs that you're putting up, and then if you want to put a painting on your wall that represents your business, would that be a separate sign category? I'm just thinking that case. Does that make sense?
it depends.
I'm not trying.
I hate to say it depends, but
I'm just thinking, all right, well,
Yeah.
That's a tough question.
yeah.
there's some serious fringe cases
The
with
next
that.
one I
for sure.
came up with, because I was thinking, which could be an issue. When new cases come to the commission that have been previously approved by the village staff, where the commission, because it met. Was within the regulations, didn't need a variance. Should the commission become involved with the appearance of the signage where in the past we were not? My example was the Essence Suites, and I think when we all looked at that sign, we're like, whoa. That should be centered, that, you know, that wouldn't have come to us had there not been an issue with that. A different issue with that, I believe. And 2124 183rd Street was what I was thinking, which was the place we just talked about today, the new place. Because I was looking at that sign thinking, not now I know different. I was thinking that they were going to have that big sign up there with the red background and black letters or vice versa. Really, that doesn't, you can't see that. So that, never mind on that one, because it's not their sign. But I was thinking, should we have more involvement with even if they meet code, should we be looking at some of these signs as a commission, or is that just gonna give us so much work freedom because of that?
Why do we want to look at?
The aesthetics point of it.
If it meets code, meets code, it purely becomes judgmental. If we're just sitting here saying, we don't like the color, or we don't like the font that you're using. And that's too subjective. I understand what you're saying, and I'm not disagreeing with it, but I think it's just too subjective for us to go and enter that field.
Okay, Commissioner Cook?
I think what you're trying to get at is there was those signs for Essence, those were approved and they changed it. So it has to be the enforcement saying, don't change this. I actually, for the hot chicken one, I wanted to say, don't try and add two chicken rings on both sides of that front sign, because.
Exactly.
you'll be back here real quick.
That would not,
Yeah.
wouldn't be good.
But I think she kind of understood without even unspoken word because of omitting of that same type of sign.
Just wanted to toss it out there because I thought about that. Commissioner Cook? Any?
You know, I just think we're getting very close to having so many sort of allowances. You know, not with the backlit signs like at the churches and with the sign that got done tonight. We're gonna stretch so much that we're never gonna be able to get back to the intent of the appearance commission ordinance. And you know, that was, I didn't do it, but that was done with a lot of thought. And, you know, if it continues to stretch, I continue to think of Pottersville, and that's not a good picture for me. So I don't know, after we let it stretch, how do we get it back in the box? I guess.
Well, the rules don't change just because we stretch them. We're making an exception to the rules.
Well, except they do, except they do.
I understand it, because that's what happened with signs for the churches.
Yes,
Once you
yes.
approve it, you have to.
That's
always
the
approve
opposite
it.
of what's
So
happening.
what's the intent of the birds?
This is Dixie.
Excellent question.
And then looking toward.
They're busy.
Maybe we need to clarify that also. I mean,
So,
much more.
Things have changed.
Do you know what the intent is of the appearance
Well-
commission?
So I would say that a couple things, we are looking at doing a new appearance plan and a new sign code. So we will address these at that time, but at this, in the history of the appearance commission and the way that the code is written now, you do have the ability to look at every sign. And at one point in your history, you looked at every single sign, but I will say that that is a lot of signs. And it became way too much. So, if staff feels that there's a sign like the Essence Salon Suites that needs to come to the appearance commission that we're not comfortable with, we can always take it to you. But every sign review is a lot of signage that,
I don't even think,
There's only two of them.
in your sentence and in your description, I'm not, we don't wanna look at every sign, we wanna
Right.
look at every plan. You know what I mean? Cause what we did today, that's a plan, that's not a sign, or at least we all agreed that it was not a sign.
You're talking about the pizza for the food place.
The
first
yeah,
one,
the chicken place.
Oh, the chicken place, I thought you were talking about.
No, I mean, that's not a sign, so I'm not saying we need to approve every sign.
I think that was the question though, the original question.
Okay. So what I would say is, I don't need to see every sign. Do you need to see every sign? Or do you want to see every plan?
I don't understand what you're saying, plan. A plan to me is a floor plan or a site plan.
Well, a plan,
That's what you're
okay,
saying.
so maybe it's not a
Drawings,
floor,
set of
but
drawings.
all those walls with all those drawings on it, that was the plan, right?
Well, no, that's a set of working plans, but, all you have to do,
Okay,
I'm not being pedantic. All you have to do is just go and look for the elevation that you want to look at. I mean, and I'm not sure about seeing every sign. Because not every sign's gonna demand the detailed looks that we have here.
This one certainly did.
This one did, but not every sign is gonna require, some of it's just gonna be cursory, okay,
So the first one we looked at tonight, that may end up coming back to us. If they're not in compliance.
If they needed a variance, yes.
Yeah.
But we weren't approving a variance for the first one.
No. They did not ask for one
So why was it brought to us?
because it's new, it required a building permit. Anything that requires a building permit and that does, so that one requires a building permit and they're doing work to the exterior. That's the condition. Exterior work that requires a building permit.
So there's, because then the lighting,
We didn't see the
engineering,
lighting.
well,
We
that's,
didn't have that.
that was with our approval, yeah, if all that comes within,
Commissioner Court, the answer to your question is yes, I would like to see every sign, every new sign,
well, I'm not necessarily averse to that.
and because. Tell me if I'm wrong, you will, if. We're doing a disservice in some respect, sit here and go through someone who's bringing up new signs for new construction to us and picking it apart and looking at it to make sure it's gonna be acceptable to us. And then Mr. Smith here is gonna put up a sign on front of his store that doesn't require, and we aren't doing it, we aren't looking at it.
So that, in one sense, that's correct. I
yeah.
do want to add kind of two thoughts to that, though, that, the first is that when you have an appearance review, so that is the applications when you get a new development. Where like the one here on 183rd Street, where we're looking at the full set of plans and they say we don't have signage yet. you do have the authority to condition that the appearance commission needs to review the sign in the future. So that is within the authority of the commission to condition. And you can look at that for the appearance review. So I did want to note that first.
Okay.
So
Thank
we
you for
could-
reminding us of that.
So you can set the tone as the appearance commission to not, I guess, to avoid those kinds of situations where someone can come through and not get the signage with an appearance review because they didn't include it in their full development package, while we look at these other signs individually. So I guess that's one situation. And then the second is, there's things we can build that allow for more signage to get reviewed in the future without taking every single sign. So say for multi-tenant buildings in the future, let's say someone wants to do a full rebuild of say the strip mall with the Buffalo Wild Wings in it at 1700, 500 Halsted. You could potentially create a mechanism where for those types of projects, we bring forward that to the appearance commission for review. So we're looking at the signage across a larger building. But again, for every single sign, I do want to warn that the amount of staff time for both of us will increase dramatically. It did previously, and that was why one of the reasons the original change was made was so that time can be spent, again, the limited staff time can be used for other things.
But
I would-
every
I would-
sign- But every sign that's put up has to have a building permit, correct?
Yes,
Even if the face is just changing?
It depends. If
Okay,
it is something like the signage at Waltz, where it's literally just, there's a broken panel, you
Yeah.
just happen to remove it and replace it, we don't require a building permit.
well,
We
let's say,
want to see that.
let's say,
Correct.
let's say
But if it's,
somebody moves into a space, let's say this chicken place moved into this space and says, we're just gonna pull the sign
yes,
faces
they would
out.
require it because it's a new business. But
Okay,
if they're just replacing the panel because it's broken or anything like, we wouldn't require a permit, but if they want to make any changes to what is already there, whether it's the color, whatever, it would be required and then it would go to them to look at.
so you're gonna look at it anyways.
So we look at every
We-
single sign.
we look at it, but we don't have, we don't bring it to commission, do a presentation, write a report, do all of that other work. We don't look at it we cannot look at the content of the sign legally. So we don't look at the colors, we don't look at the design, we look only at the size. That's what our code currently regulates. So I think that there are some things we can do. We're writing a new sign code. We can make it more specific and we can make it stricter so that we do look a little bit more at design, not content, but designs. When we do that, and then, we can we can write in parameters, as Noah said, that certain signs have to come to you, like sign packages for buildings, but we are limited on what we can, a lot of it's subjective. I don't like this color. I don't, that's never gonna really be part of what we can regulate.
Yeah, by bringing this up, I'm not trying to generate.
Yeah, but we can, we plan to make the sign code much more specific and much better as far
Yeah.
as design.
Can am I allowed to preview a draft page from that?
Mm,
No, let's wait
kind of.
till
Let's-
everybody's,
yeah.
till it's all there.
Yeah.
It's coming soon, because we're getting to the last stages of writing the drafts for that, so
Our next meeting is gonna be about the ordinance, correct?
that's the plan,
That's the plan right
Yeah.
now. But we can,
Things have been busy.
yeah,
I mean, you don't wanna be capricious and just say, we just don't like it because I don't like blue.
right. And that's,
Well, you could, I guess, but that defeats the purpose.
Right, and there's two prongs to this too, because we have the sign code, which is going to set these objective, very specific parameters on the construction and size and all these
Right.
things. And then there's the appearance plan. Right now, we have the very broad standards. I passed around some of the signage section to you
Right.
that is very, very broad. And it may be helpful for clarifying some specific, maybe more location-specific design parameters of when a sign is here, consider these guidelines as, again, not binding, but as guidelines to maybe help you have some language to, again, have more of this conversation about what is harmonious, what is
Right.
appropriate. These words we use in our current appearance plan
That
that
are
again are
very
subjective,
subjective.
loaded. So,
yeah, we will,
Well, you understand where we're going.
Yes.
And what we want or talking about. And I know I brought that up, but I think that it's something that was on the minds of several of the commissioners.
And it either, yeah,
Previous discussions. Moving on. All right, so I brought this up before. Should directional signage be regulated in the future for places interior directional signage like at the casino? Who knows what, I doubt we're gonna have another casino. But we don't know.
Where we put it.
Yeah, but 20 years from now, who knows what's gonna be here? And would this be something that in the future, like I was looking at it like, not realizing that they weren't finished with it. But I was looking at it like, should we have a say in that too? Because it's
we can look at other codes
Size.
in our, in our research, we'll look and see if other communities, if they do, or if it's even possible, we can look into that.
What are the thoughts on that? Just
It's
Sounds like
very,
something like that would almost be by, like fire department. It has to have.
that is more of a safety,
specifications, Safety related.
that's more safety related,
Yeah.
but we can look and see if any sign codes include it.
I mean, there's even sign codes for like all the signs and all the should meet certain specification.
Yeah, it's pretty good with students too. It's a uniform. Yeah. All right, I'll get it over. The last thing is kind of, never mind, because the village board didn't bring it up.
Yeah.
I went to the meeting yesterday about the new Homeless Gateway sign.
And then it was,
And Noah had mentioned to me that they may not talk about that, and that's fine. It was always good to see a board meeting and the tax levy that's coming up, which you guys want to look into incidentally. But if it hasn't been mentioned at the board meeting, then we can hold off on that.
and it will come before you, just so you know,
Yeah, I figured it would.
it will,
Just so you know, there's a new Homeless Gateway signage.
yes.
You almost say gateway.
Gateway signage.
That is what?
I don't know. That's why I went to the meeting. And we can talk about it.
And they,
Darn, man.
I know. So never mind that. So I
All right.
have nothing else. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I have one more, and Annie,
yes,
when you're discussing all of this, I'd just like to, on his behalf, say,
I'm
in the
sorry.
appearance commission, or I'm sorry, in the appearance side. Let's make sure we look fairly carefully at the landscaping and the rest of that appearance. Because that's if we're readdressing that,
It's always been a pet of mine.
yeah, that's, yeah.
we actually in our new zoning code are very aggressive in our landscape requirements. If you notice that on this new Sitco property, all the landscaping that's required, it's very intense.
Like
They did a good
Does it
job
talk
following
about
it.
Initial installation and maintenance.
Well, maintenance is a code enforcement.
Yeah, it's in there, we enforce the landscaping.
You know me in maintenance.
I do.
Yes.
That's why I raised
Yeah.
it.
Appreciate it.
I will throw
Jack
you
keeps
a-
us in line.
Oh.
No, it's great.
That's
It is
good.
good. We need all eyes on everything so that we know.
That's one of
This-
Bob's pet peeves is the landscaping. in
Yeah.
Boston. She's
Yeah.
very good at catching the stuff
Oh,
that's dying.
drives me
and things.
crazy.
It
Or
take,
the
yeah.
mulch.
Well, just note, Jack, one of our goals that was from the very beginning, and it was feedback from the original appearance commission workshop we did back in, I think, January. But it was to increase our specificity about maintenance and what we expect for maintenance. So that section, there's a draft that's under construction with that section. And we'll talk about it when we go to workshop and discuss it further.
Mhm.
All right, do I have a motion to adjourn at 8 p.m.?
I motion.
Second. Roll call, please. No, never mind. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion passed.
I apologize for the interruption.
Wait until it turns actually 8:00.
So,
All right.
59. Is that what you're putting?
Except 8 o'clock.
Don't be sorry.
So I was going to, but then it didn't change. So I'm thinking 59.
It's a good meeting.
She said 8 o'clock, that's what I was.
It's still 7:59.
I said 8 o'clock, because that clock was 9, that clock.
That clock, yeah,
That was an hour back.
I kept looking at it.
I did email Lisa that day. to tell
It does feel like 9 o'clock, to be honest. I'm with them. Oh, let's turn on.
them. Email Lisa, that clock is still an hour.
Thank you guys for being here so long.
Yeah,
Thank you guys,
All three
yeah.
of you, it's a long day, I know. Thank you.